Hey church family, this is Pastor Lee coming at you with your Wednesday midweek check-in. I hope that this time finds you and your family healthy and happy and safe and ready to face the rest of the week in the name of Jesus Christ. You know, I found myself the past couple of days thinking about my friend Susan Longley. Now, you don't know Susan, but when Melissa and I and the boys moved back to Texas from Chicago back in 2001, Susan was serving as the associate pastor at First United Methodist Church of Killeen, where we eventually became members. We got to know Susan and her family, and we all became very close. So close, in fact, that when I began to discern my own call to ministry, it was Susan to whom I went. I called her up one day, I invited her to lunch, and over lunch I told her that I felt as though God was calling me to ordain ministry in the United Methodist Church. And I'll never forget her face that day. Her face just practically lit up. It just glowed as her smile affirmed my call to ministry. In fact, the glow of her face was matched only by the glow of her bald head. You see, at the time, Susan was undergoing treatment for cancer. Susan was a second career pastor, just like I am. She worked for many years as an accountant before discerning her own call to ministry. She went to seminary. She began the process of ordination through the United Methodist Church and was appointed to First United Methodist Church of Killeen just a couple of weeks before she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I'll never forget the night that she told me that she knew that she was going to die young. I never really considered that possibility before. I just assumed that she was going to beat the illness, that she would conquer cancer. But she assured me that night that she would not, that she knew that she would die young. And she did. Just a couple of weeks after she was ordained as an elder in the United Methodist Church. She left behind a husband and 2 teenage boys who loved her very much. It's easy to look back on Susan's story and see it as a tragedy, and I guess in some sense it certainly is. But when I look back on Susan and the time that I knew her, a time through which she was always dying, I don't see it as a tragedy. Because the truth is, I learned more about living from Susan as she died than I have learned from anyone else in my life. I learned more about what it meant to be a person of faith, what it meant to be a follower of Jesus Christ, what it meant to live into the hope of Christ from Susan as she died than I have from any other person with whom I've ever encountered. And I say that because Susan Longley knew God. You know, we talked about on Sunday what it means to know God, not just to know about God, not just to have head knowledge about God, but what it truly means to know God. What it means to yearn after God's heart, like David did in the Bible. What it means to long after Christ, as the Apostle Paul did, as he articulated in the 3rd chapter of the letter to the Philippians, when he said, I want to know Christ. Not just I want to know about him, but I want to know him. I want to know him to every fiber of his being. I want to be able to see the world through his eyes. That was Susan Longley to me, because she was a woman who longed to know Christ, who longed after the very heart of God. And I've thought about Susan the past couple of days as I've thought about the state of the church. Now, we're not dying by any stretch of the imagination, but suffice to say, we are going through a difficult time as the church. We are forced to reimagine what it means to be disciples of Jesus Christ, what it means to be the hands and the feet and the voice and the very presence of Christ in the world when we can't do all the things that we normally do. We are in the midst of adversity, to be sure. And yet I can't help but wonder if this is not an opportunity for us, that in the midst of adversity, that this is our call, this is our opportunity to show the world what it means to be people of faith, to be people of hope, to truly be followers of Jesus Christ. Because as our world in the church is turned upside down, so too is the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is looking around feverishly for something to latch onto, for something to grab onto, for something to suggest to it that there is something more than this, that there is something more to the adversity that they're facing. My friends, I passionately believe that that something is Jesus Christ. That something is the personification, the physical manifestation of Jesus to the world, and that's the church, that's us. And so as we are wringing our hands, wondering how we are going to continue to be the church, friends, I believe that this time provides us the opportunity to be just that, to live into the hope of Jesus Christ, to be that beacon of light that pierces the darkness and assures that the darkness will not overcome it. And so as we go through this week, I just invite you to continue to seek God, to seek Christ with your full heart, to seek to know Christ and the power of his resurrection, and to truly be that beacon of hope, so that when others see you, that they truly will see the face of Christ. You know, there's a plaque up on the wall in our house that we ran across in a gift shop a number of years ago, and it never fails to sort of stir me. And it says, "Live your life so that those who don't know God but know you will come to know God simply because they know you." That's what it means to be a disciple. That's what it means to be the church. My friends, I am so thankful to be on this journey with you. And I wish you a pleasant day, a fruitful week. And I pray God's deepest blessings on you all. Take care.